And I must say, Kyra, it's looking like it's looking kind of bleak, girl. It's not looking good for you. Hey guys, welcome to welcome back to my channel. We are back yet again another week, another review, and this week we'll be doing episode 11 of season 4 Ready to Love. A lot happened in this episode, so without further ado, let's unpack it all. The episode continues from Kyra and AJ's date, where AJ tells Kyra she's no longer ready to love. Surprisingly, Kyra says that she had a feeling that this was going to happen, but given that this is the only time she's going to make this decision, she said she's only going to pick a husband once, and so she wants to be sure. So even though she knew that the other guys were a bit restless about it, she didn't want to let her rush her decision. So after explaining that, AJ said, okay, well, he's been waiting a very long time to, get a second chance with her. It's been 4 years, I think he said. And so he's not ready to let the situation go. And to our surprise, he decided to say he changed his mind and he would like for her to stay. Of course, she loved that. She said that really showed her that he is the type of man that will be, I guess, patient with her, because the fact that he chose her and was willing to wait even after she didn't make a clear indication that it was him. Like, she did not say his name clearly, that I choose you. And they hugged it out and kissed it out, and that was the end of that date. So after that date, AJ then invites Alexis to meet him by the pool, and she comes, she sits down, he holds her hand, and he says to her, I think we're going to be in each other's lives for a very long time. I mean, he definitely started like he was about to tell her, like, you're the one. And so in her confessional, she's like, oh, I just knew he was about to tell me that I am the one, because we know Alexis loves to be number one. Only for him to then say, you're not ready to love, and he has chosen somebody else. Because remember, it was really just down to her and Kyra for him. And I mean, Alexis was butthurt. She said no hard feelings, but she was hurt. She said in her confessional she finds it messed up because for her, she has been clear. Like, she has verbalized that she does choose AJ, whereas Kyra has not verbalized this, and so she was confused, I suppose, which it does make sense when you hear her say it out loud. It's like the person who clearly says you don't go with them, you go with the person who's unsure, but you want what you want, and it really just comes down to that. And so she had a bit of a preachy moment about God is showing her to love herself, yada, yada, yada. And then they hugged and she left. I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted Alexis to go, but I did feel like a bit of a hurt because she really seemed like she wanted this process to end with her leaving with someone. So of course I don't want to see her hurt, but I do think it was definitely time for her to go. The next scene we see are the ladies meeting up in the ladies' lounge with Tommy, and Liz is so shocked that Kyra is still there. It's as though she just knew Kyra was gonna be gone. And then Tommy, of course, comes in and tells them that this week is their last week to do one-on-one dates, and this is their time to secure that relationship, that couple relationship with the person of interest. Tommy leaves, and then Kyra tells everyone her elimination story with AJ and how she was able to still be here. And then I think it was Amber who asked her, so are you still undecided? And she said that yes, she basically still is undecided because she has some unfinished business with Jason, and she would need to speak with him first before I guess she feels okay with making like one solid decision. And baby, when I tell you Liz is over there salty, Liz's face is just like, like, can you leave already? And also Liz said in her confessional that she didn't like the way Kyra was speaking because Kyra has been making it seem like she was the second choice in terms of he would rather be with her. So Liz was just being very mature, but she did say she was irritated. She said, okay, whatever, we'll see how it goes, but I'm very solid in my relationship with Jason. At this point, she seemed completely tired of Kyra. The next date is Joelle and Vernisha, and it's at Vernisha's house. She cooked, so there's good food, there's wine, there are roses. The setup looked really nice, and eventually they sit down and they both reveal to each other that in last week's deliberation, they both selected each other as their number ones. and Vernisha is just on cloud nine. She's like, oh, she's feeling like it's meant to be. She's also feeling like anything that happened before this point, it doesn't really matter because they've made it. Honestly, I hope for her sake she is very correct. I just hope she's right, because I actually do think Vernisha and Joel make a very good fit. I'm just worried that Joel is not on the same page. Next, Liz and Jason meet up, and it's like a lounge vibe or a restaurant slash lounge type of vibe. And Liz cuts straight to it and asks Jason, so at the ranch, if Kyra had said, you know, clearly that she chose you, would your answer or would your decision have been different? And Jason actually said, you and I would still be sitting here because I had made up my mind a few weeks ago. And the biggest smile comes on Liz's face, and then she says, good, in her little angelic voice. Listen, Jason is fed up with Kyra. He's over it. I think he has just decided to just be with the one who he knows for sure loves him. But this could just be me. I really do think Kyra is the one he wants. I just think he's frustrated with the back and forth and decided to stick with the safe option. But anyway, I digress. He then explained that Kyra came across very disingenuous to him because she was unable to make a decision and it had been weeks. Anyway, he then says, excuse me, gets up from the table, leaves, and comes back with a white rose and explains to Liz that this is the third one he's ever going to give out because he has only given one to his mom and his stepmother, and it signifies that she's such a pure woman with a pure heart, all the good stuff, and he chooses her and she's the one he wants to be with. So I guess he's making it clear that he is fully committed to her. Of course, Liz is a sucker for all things good, and so she starts crying. She gets really emotional. She gets up from the table. They hug, the longest hug ever, I must say, and then they kiss. So all is well in the land of Liz and Jason. And I must say, Kyra, it's looking like it's looking kind of bleak, girl. It's not looking good for you. Next, we see Amber and Chris meet up, and I really like their setting. It was like an outdoor, very chill, like dinner vibes. And upon entrance, Amber and Chris hugged like homies. I mean, look at this picture. They really did hug like two friends. But anyway, once they sat down, Chris started to share that he had been feeling, I guess, a bit unsure of his status because he's still a bit worried about the Ron situation. So Amber, of course, reassures him and lets him know that all communication with Ron has stopped and that he is the only person that she wants to be with. There's no number two, no number three. Chris actually started crying. He got emotional and said that Amber makes him feel comfortable and secure. Now, I actually kind of like this. I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea when a man starts to cry or a man gets emotional, but I do appreciate what I do appreciate about Chris is that he is not afraid to express his emotions. He's not afraid to cry. He's not afraid to say exactly what's on his mind. I know a lot of people clown Chris, like, oh, he just wants somebody to take care of him, but I don't necessarily think Amber has as strong feelings for him as he does for her, but I love that he's not afraid to wholeheartedly like say like, I'm here and this is what I'm feeling, because then you don't have to be dancing around like wondering what is this person thinking. He was very like straightforward, and I really like that about their date. So after such an emotional moment, Chris then says, oh, well, you know, I'm ready to have some babies. So then Amber says, oh yeah, I love kids, we could have one, but I need to be married first. Which, am I the only one who remembers that Amber agreed to having 5 kids out of wedlock? So clearly her mind has changed, or she wasn't being honest about how she felt before. And then after, he says, oh yeah, we'll definitely have to be married because I'm not having sex right now, which, okay. But then he explains like he wants to be married before having sex ever again, because Amber was shocked. Amber was like, ever? Like, Amber was not here for the celibacy. But Chris says he's protecting his sexual energy and he's practicing semen retention. Okay, whatever. After that, the conversation just got gross, because then he was like, oh, he's so backed up and whatever. Oh, okay. So they need to sort that out. For some things, it seems like they're not on the same page. I'm a little bit concerned that they've been dating for how many weeks now and this conversation never came up, like, at all. It's a bit strange. Kyra and AJ are next on what looks like a brunch date, and I'm not gonna lie, Kyra came in through those doors looking like $1,000,000. However, when they sat down, Kyra did express in her confessional that all the dates that she's had with AJ, she's done so with her eggs in Jason's basket. And so now she wants to approach him differently and give him a complete chance because she hasn't done that before. But then in the same breath, she says to us that she's still unsure and she still needs to talk to Jason before making a decision. I think at this point, Kyra needs to recognize that she's no longer in control. You're no longer the one who is doing the choosing. You've now been put in a position where what you have is what you have to deal with because you've taken so long to make a decision with Jason that he has made the decision for you. And I don't think that's registering. It's almost like she can't believe that he has just decided to be like, whatever, I'm not going to wait for the answer and moved on. Like he has said he has chosen Liz. Clear as day. So what else do you want to talk about? Like AJ at this point is your only viable option because Jason has made his choice. I don't think that's registering at all. So after all these dates, we're back to the ladies' lounge with Tommy, and all the ladies start to share their experiences of their dates for the week. And while Liz was talking, Kyra actually like busted out like with a whole laugh, like literally laughed when Liz started explaining that during their date, Jason said that he has made his decision from a few weeks ago. And while she continued and got to the good stuff about the whole White Rose situation, Kyra's face got so salty so quick. I'm gonna put a side by side because it was too funny. She went from laughing to being real serious, like her feelings were butt hurt. Okay. When all was said and done, Kyra took the floor and explained why she was laughing because, of course, Liz found it to be disrespectful. So she explained that it wasn't from a place of being mean-spirited or being hurtful. She just finds it funny because, as we know, being abstinent is a big thing for Liz. And she says that she almost feels like they're talking about two different people because the Jason she knows and the Jason Liz is describing is not the Jason that would, like, there were no discussions between her and him about purity. It didn't seem like that was a very important thing for him at all. So that's her first thing. And then second of all, she finds that him saying that, okay, he has made his decision several weeks ago, she was asking then why was he pressuring her up until even last week to make a decision? Because if you made your decision several weeks ago, my decision would not be affecting you whether I choose AJ or not. So, and I must say I 1000% agree. I think Jason is saying that now because I think when he finally made the decision was at the tennis court date at the ranch because he kept insisting for her to choose like definitively to say Jason. And when she said she was unsure, I think that was the last straw for him. So I really do think he made a decision last week, but because his feelings are hurt, he's going to be like, okay, yeah, well, it's been several weeks. And I think she genuinely was not expecting that. And so Tommy suggested that she and Jason need to meet up and kind of clear the air because he seems way past it, but for whatever reason, she still needs some clarity. Just before they left though, Tommy did ask if you were going to leave today, as in right now, who would you choose? And she said AJ, and honestly, I'm just the way she said it, I didn't buy it. I don't know if anybody else believed it, but she didn't say it with her chest. She said it very unsure. It wasn't believable at all. At this point, it seems like I'm going to say AJ because AJ said me and Jason is currently saying Liz. But if you truly wanted to be with AJ, then you would not be concerned with what Jason thought, nor would you want to meet up with him one last time. So I think these two are just not being honest, and it's frustrating to see. Like, why not just be honest? I think even if they need to just go and have like an off-camera date, they're both playing games with other people's emotions. Don't do that. Don't do that. So the next date is Jason and Kyra. They finally meet up, and right away Jason is just like, I'm not going to renege, and I don't really see the relevance of this meeting. I'm here for her. Basically, he said, I'm here to give her the clarity she needs. I've made up my mind, and I'm not about to change my mind. I find that he was being very cold, like very blunt, very harsh, very cold. But I understand sometimes you just need to do that to protect your own peace. And I don't know, boy, he's being real standoffish. So then she finally asked him about the comment Liz made about what he said regarding making his decision several weeks ago. And his response was just like, honestly, a lot of things were said, and I can't remember everything that was said. And then he said, I can't remember everything that was said, queen. He kept calling her queen, and I did not find it to be like in an uplifting way. It's kind of like, I'm done with you. You know, when somebody's like, I'm done with you, and then they like, yeah, everything's good, friend. We're cool, dude. Like, in that way, I found it super annoying. It was grating me. But anyway, and that response was so nonchalant. So, like, yeah, okay, I'm not even gonna give you an honest answer at this point. I'm just gonna tell you I don't remember. It literally happened last week where we had the conversation, so I don't understand how you don't remember. He then said in his confessional that honestly his main problem with Kyra is that she does a very poor job of communicating how she feels. And I think that that one line expresses a very, like, a lot of emotion as to why he's being the way he's being. I think he's genuinely hurt because he felt like he has been very forthcoming about choosing her, which I think is a bit unfair because, to be honest, in my eyes, they've been doing the same thing. He has been dancing between her and Liz for a while, but he has been consistently saying Kyra's name in deliberation, and she has consistently said Jason's name in deliberation, but she has been battling in, you know, other aspects with his name and Jason and his name and AJ. So I don't understand why she's getting all the heat, all the fire for doing exactly what he did. I find it very unfair that she needs to choose when you're ready for her to choose. Now you need to relax or move on. So obviously he has moved on. After that, I feel like he was just being hurtful because then he tells her, honestly, like, when we're on dates, I don't feel like we're on the dates to enjoy like the moment. I always feel like I'm being interrogated, and this situation is a casing point for exactly what I'm saying. So she was just like, what do you mean? Like, obviously you ask me questions, I ask you questions, that's how we're gonna get to know each other. She genuinely seems confused. It's almost like he has done a 360 and she seems confused by his change of attitude towards her, but she also seems to be a little bit stunned by the fact that he just doesn't want to be with you anymore. Like, he just doesn't like you anymore, or I don't know, she's not accepting the message. The frequency is off. And then he got all the bass in the world, and his voice got real deep. He got real irritated, and he was just like, what do you want? What do you want? Like, what is this about? What do you want? He was being mad aggressive. My God. So I guess she was just reading the room, and eventually she was just like, you know what, I guess given the situation, we just need to stay friends. And he was like, yeah, I think that would be for the best. Like, he's done, 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 done. There. Oh my God. I think she thought that maybe if she spoke to him, he would have calmed down, but he seems irritated. Like, he doesn't even want to be in the same space with her. And yeah, afterward, he was like, oh, well, you happy now? And she was like, no, she's still not happy because I guess she feels like she didn't accomplish what she came there to accomplish. But anyway, guys, that was it on that conversation. It was a bit painful to watch. I feel like she didn't need to be told so many times. Like, he said he chose Liz. I think he should have just left it, because now it's like you're sitting at a table with him and he's just like, I don't want you, like, in every different way that he can. Like, you're fine, you don't need to be sitting here for all of this. And his energy is all the negatives. Sorry. So earlier in the episode, Tommy mentioned that at the end, all the couples will show up at a final dinner. So after that disastrous date between Kyra and Jason, that's the next scene that we see, the final dinner. So everyone shows up paired up. So first we have Vernisha and Joel. I think it was Liz who was actually narrating that, okay, they seem like they're already married. By the way, what was Vernisha wearing? That dress had more holes than Swiss cheese. At the sides, all types of holes. I think it was a bit too much, but you know, if you like it, we love it, girl. But I was taken back. Anyway, after them, there's Amber and Chris, who seem, of course, to vibe well. They just have a few things that they need to talk about. And then Liz was like, well, there is AJ and Kyra, and I'm not so sure about them, but I hope they can sort themselves out. And then she was like, of course, there's me and Jason, and you know, that's my boo. Liz is so elated, like, you know, when you've been chosen and you're just glowing in the after, like, I one upped you. But she doesn't do it in a petty way, but she's definitely doing it. A confessional of Kyra's pops up, and in her confessional she lets the audience know that seeing Liz and Jason together, it's making her feel some type of way. So I guess she's not fully over Jason, and she says while she likes AJ a lot, she's just not sure she likes him enough to make a commitment. Enters Tommy, and he tells them that they will need to go see each other's families. And so here goes AJ in his confessional that he thinks it's too early for that, and he's not sure if he wants to do that. So honestly, it seems like everybody is really secure in their relationships, or seems secure in their relationships, except for Kyra and AJ, because they're both having some sort of doubts one way or another. And they either need to go their separate ways, or they just need to get off the show and finish dating at their own pace, because yeah, no. So next week is actually the big finale of Ready to Love, and from the clips, the first clip I saw was AJ's mom telling Kyra that he's 38 and she doesn't have any grandbabies. Listen, this girl barely knows if she likes this guy or not. It's not the time to be talking to her about producing your grandbabies. I really just predict that, because Tommy did say after meeting the families, what they're going to do is they normally meet up. Both couples decide to meet up, and if one person doesn't show up, that shows that I don't want to be with you, or I'm not ready to commit to you. So I must say, predicting, I think everybody might show up. The only two people I'm a little bit worried may not show up are Kyra and Joel. Just because I know Joel will speak all the games, and in the end he'll just switch on you. But I'm less worried about him than I am of Kyra. I think if in the end it might be the other three couples, and Kyra and AJ will be out. Next week I might actually react to the episode live, or I might have the episode playing and then do a reaction. You let me know if that's something you would like me to do in the comments, or if I should just keep the same, groove that I've had all this time. Leave in the comments for me also, who do you think we will see in the finale next week? Who do you think will make it? Who do you think will crumble? What do you think about this Kyra Jason AJ situation? Talk to me, guys. Talk to me in the comments. And until next week's big finale,